Hi, this is Taylor, and while you're listening to all the other great shows here on Vigilant Liberty Radio, be sure to check out my show on Saturday nights called Saturday Night Cigar Lounge. You never know what we're going to talk about. It's always a fun time. That's Saturday Night Cigar Lounge, Saturday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, here on Vigilant Liberty Radio.
At Independent Journal Review, we publish news that is objective, fair, and entertaining. As one of the top websites in the United States, it's our duty to bring the absolute best to our readers. Readers like you. IJReview.com, your number one source for news and entertainment.
Hey, this is Alfonso Rachel with 20 Pound Sledge and PJTV Zone Nation, and you're listening to VLR.
Hi, I'm Dustin Hoyt with America Our Way, and you can hear me right here on Vigilant Liberty Radio at 10/9 Central on Thursday nights. We bring you the best in political commentary from the right-wing, conservative, libertarian perspectives coming together and bringing the best content on the internet. Be sure to tune in every week for your favorite shows. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
A progressive woman once told me that if she was my wife, she'd poison my coffee. I told her if I was her husband, I'd drink it. This is Alan Bordius, host of Their Finest Hour, Monday nights here on Vigilant Liberty Radio.
At Independent Journal Review, we publish news that is objective, fair, and entertaining. As one of the top websites in the United States, it's our duty to bring the absolute best to our readers. Readers like you. IJReview.com, your number one source for news and entertainment.
Folks, welcome back to the show. This is Michael Hausum with Mike Miller. This is The Right Mics. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to call in, please do. The number is 412-567-6879. You can interact with us at The Right Mics. I was just going to make a sperm bank joke, but I will not.
I was just saying to myself, you and I send each other links. We plan what we're going to talk about. We're serious political nerds. We get into the weeds on economics and budgets and stuff, the economy that no one else, not no one else, but a lot of people don't want to hear. So we we set all that stuff up, and then we degenerate into talking about our own contributions to sperm banks.
That's just it just immediately rolls down to the least possible common denominator.
Because that's who we are.
Because that is who we actually are, which is a little bit sad and a little bit pathetic.
And a little bit fun.
And entertaining to us. That's
exactly. And listen, and we really don't care what anyone else thinks, because if we're having fun, that's all that matters. And and maybe it's even like if we're having fun, we think everyone else is. And of course we care, but
right.
Yeah, dude, too much sun. So okay, we got a lot of stuff.
You know what? Here's how I'm going to transition. That sort of humor could be a potential chink in our armor.
Yeah, I know.
Did you see what I just did there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so folks, what I'm making reference to, I'm going to take an informal poll. I'm just going to ask the question, Jessica. When I just said a second ago that was a chink in our armor, what did I mean by that? Have you heard that phrase before?
I have heard that phrase before, but I don't really know the meaning behind it.
Mike, I'm assuming that you know what I mean when I say it was a chink in our armor, correct?
Well, I think most of our listeners do. I mean, you're all armed up, protected, but there is a problem. So, to which problem, weakness, if you will, weak spot, are you referring?
I'm just making a general statement. However, I'm making reference to an article blew up on IJ Review a couple of days ago. Let me read you the title of the article, and then you see the genius of the transition that I proposed there. The U.S. Army sends out a tweet about its badass new armor, but one word sets off a firestorm. Okay, so Thursday of last week, at U.S. Army, the official U.S. Army Twitter site,
Right.
Sent out a tweet that said, and it had a link, it said, "Chinks in Special Ops digital and physical armor pose challenge." And people started to freak out. And then the U.S. Army actually deleted the tweet and issued a clarifying tweet in response to it.
Okay.
So here's the deal. For those that don't know, the word chink can be used as a slur against those of Chinese heritage. Okay, there's the racial aspect. In this case, the use of the word set off a social media firestorm, leading to the Army to take down a tweet. The public affairs officer for the Army, Lieutenant Colonel Elaine Conway, said to the Washington Post, "The phrase and word have been in use for more than 600 years, if as a proper noun meaning a crack or a fissure, as defined by Webster's. Nevertheless, based on feedback from some followers who expressed offense, we deleted it. It was not our intention to offend everyone."
And see, this is just how ridiculously nonsensical we are in 2015. Let me ask you this. I mean, just off the top of your head, intuitively, whatever have you. How many do you think under 30 folks, as an example, when they hear the word chink, associate that with Chinese people?
Depending on the context, I would guess all of them.
See, I would not, because that term has not been used for decades. It you know what? It's almost analogous with, World War II. Germans, Krauts.
I think you're quite niggardly in your estimation of the quantity of people.
Okay, first of all, I think before we continue, you need to spell and or define the word niggardly.
Well, I'm obviously making a reference to another, even more politically incorrect word.
Well, but I think it has an A in it, doesn't it? Gard. I don't think it has anything to do with that word. But what you're saying, I guess, is that just by virtue of saying niggardly, when people are completely unaware of what it means and how many hundreds of years it's been around, that they're going to automatically associate that with black people? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah, exactly. The word niggardly means cheap or not generous, miserly. Stingy is the word. And it's a Northern European background word. But it's a word that nobody uses. I mean, you never hear anybody use the word niggardly because of, obviously, the racial connotation. The same context here. Dan Fitzgerald just sent us a Google search. Dan, that's exactly what I did, too. I went right to Google. That's where I read it from.
What did he say?
He just sent a link for the definition of the word.
By the way, Dan, I did get your message, 3 weeks ago or whatever. He said if I do whatever he said I need to do relative to Twitter and the interwebs, that he will also include me in the tweets. Don't bother, okay? Because it's not going to happen. But I just think like chink. I just don't think if Dan Joseph. I mean, our pal Dan Joseph. If he went to a college campus and asked 100 kids, what does chink mean? They would either say, I don't know, or a couple of them might know, as in chink in the armor. I just don't think in today's America, and again, I could be wrong, that people associate that with the Chinese.
You know what? I don't know about that. But the first response, somebody on Twitter, and he was a Marine, he said the U.S. Army has decided to take down its racially insensitive tweet from earlier today making reference to chinks, but no apology. So this guy, he's like, wait a second, you took it down, but you didn't apologize?
Screw you.
Yeah, and immediately someone responded right back. Are people really getting angry about using chinks in armor when there's another meaning besides Asians? And so it kind of went back and forth, and I just think it's absurd.
It's completely ridiculous. I mean, it is. My dad. It was and I've talked about this before in different contexts. My dad was a tank commander in the Marines. Hit the beach on Iwo Jima the first time in his tank from the landing craft. Until he died, he referred, and maybe this is different, but somewhat the same. He referred to the Japanese as the Japs. Okay, wrong. Didn't, I don't think, mean anything about it, at least in terms of today's context. But this thing is completely different. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I saw this thing, and we're such a mincing, whiny, politically correct, offended at every turn generation in a culture. It's just disgusting to me.
I mean, Black Friday. You've seen that before, right? Shouldn't be. I've seen that stuff a couple of years ago. Why is it Black Friday? That's racist. I mean, how far does this crap go?
Well, apparently it goes to the point that when the U.S. Army puts out something making reference to that, people freak the hell out. That's partly how far it's gone.
And to broaden this as it relates to the military in general and everything that's happened with from gays in the military to atheist chaplains to this kind of stuff. I used to be surprised that the military brass, if you will, they sound like flaming liberals. You know what? I don't get that part.
Right. Well, because I think that not so much on the rank and file, but at the brass level, at the top end, they are political animals.
Oh, there's no question. And you said rank and file. I mean, look at any poll. I saw one last week. I mean, is it like upwards of 80%, maybe 70%? The military rank and file, the boots on the ground, the troops, the guys in uniform, can't stand Obama. And I think for two reasons. His policies, as it relates to the military, his complete inability to listen to top commanders' advice, and the fact that he knows they loathe them. So you're right.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Dude, yes. This thing that you just, I think I sent this to you earlier. I don't know if you saw it or not, but we got to switch gears because, and I hate to go back here because you know how distressed I was about that last play call at the Super Bowl. And for those of you that have not heard my previous comments, I mean, I did not have a horse in the race. I'm true and blue. I'm a Colts fan. Excuse me, hate the Patriots. So I guess to the extent that, the Seahawks horse was running against the Patriots horse, I had a kind of a de facto horse in the race. But this thing is unbelievable, is it not? Liberals, Go ahead, man, just say it.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that the context being we're having a race conversation about hypersensitivity about race.
Exactly, a good tie-in.
So liberals, this is Weasel Zippers. Liberals see racism behind the Seahawks' last play call, claiming that Pete Carroll wanted Russell Wilson to get the glory rather than Marshawn Lynch to get the glory because Russell Wilson is a cleaner cut black guy.
Okay, so before we analyze, let's just digest